Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a wonderful Jewish holiday. It is actually the second most observed holiday among Jewish people, at least here in the United States. It's a wonderful holiday. It's a great celebration. It takes place in the winter, around November or December each year, and it has a historical basis to it. Now, it's not found in the Tanakh or the Old Testament because it takes place between the Old Testament and the New Testament. The historical basis is this. In 168 BC, there was a Syrian general by the name of Antiochus IV. Now, he liked to call himself Antiochus Epiphanes, which means God manifest. The Jewish people, on the other hand, called him Antiochus Epimanes, which means madman. And the reason for that is what he did to them. He was an evil man, and he tried to impose Greek culture and thought and worship on the Jewish people living in Israel during those years. And what he did is he did it by force. He went into the temple. He desecrated the Jewish temple. He sacrificed pigs on the altar. He set up a statue of the Greek god Zeus. He had Torah scrolls burnt. He prohibited Jewish people from reading the Torah scroll, from circumcising their children, from observing Jewish holidays, from worshiping at the temple, and they could only sacrifice to Greek gods. So he was trying to impose Greek culture, Greek thought, Greek religion upon the Jewish people. And it was under pain of death and torture. Some Jewish people capitulated, and they assimilated into Greek culture and thought because they didn't want to experience the pain and the suffering associated with resistance. But on the other hand, there were some who did resist, and they started a rebellion under the leadership of a priest by the name of Mattathias. Mattathias had 5 sons, and one son in particular is well known. His name was Judah, and sometimes referred to as Judah the Maccabee. And so the Maccabees had this revolt against Antiochus 3 years after he had desecrated the temple. In 165 BC, Judah defeated Antiochus's armies to the point where they recaptured Jerusalem. And when they recaptured Jerusalem, they went into the temple area and they wept because God's temple was devastated and desecrated, and weeds were growing up through the stones, and there were sacrifices of pigs that had taken place. It was horrible. So what they did is they cleansed the temple. They threw out all of the old things. They manufactured new altars and cleansed the temple completely, and they dedicated it to the Lord. And that is what the word Hanukkah means, dedication. So that's why sometimes it's referred to as the Feast of Dedication. It's not mentioned, as I said, in the Tanakh or the Old Testament, but it is mentioned once in the New Testament. And the reason why it is called the Feast of Dedication is for this very reason, that Judah dedicated the temple back to God. Now, after Judah did that, he instituted this new holiday that became known as Hanukkah, and they celebrated it for 8 days. Now, why 8 days? Well, some believe it's because there was a miracle that took place there. According to the legend, there was only enough temple oil to light the temple menorah for 8 days, or for 1 day actually. And then what happened was, miraculously, the oil lasted for 8 days, giving them enough time to make new oil. And so today they will remember and celebrate the holiday by lighting a candle on a Hanukkah menorah. Now you'll notice this isn't like the menorah that was in the temple. This is a menorah that is used strictly for Hanukkah. Sometimes it's called the Hanukkah, but it's a Hanukkah menorah, and it has 8 places for 8 candles, and then it has a 9th one called the Shamash, the servant candle. Because what happens is that each night the family will take the Shamash candle and they'll light one of the candles on the menorah. And each night they'll add another candle, so that by the 8th night the entire menorah is lit up. That's why sometimes it's also called the Festival of lights. Now, when they observe this, they also give gifts to each other. So it's a wonderful time of year. They give gifts to each other. And the children play a little game with a four-sided top. This is a small top, but if you can see it, it's got four sides, and it's got a Hebrew letter on each of the four sides, which stands for an acrostic, which means a great miracle happened there. In Israel, they changed one of the letters so that it says a great miracle happened here. And so they'll spin this top and they'll play with it and exchange gifts and have candies. So it's a wonderful holiday to remember how God preserved the Jewish people.